don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I couldn't get the screen off there. Are you ready to rumble? Give me just 1 second. Holy crap, we are officially live on Rumble. I don't know how easy this is going to be, and it's already seems to be a pain in the ass, but it looks like we are officially, for the very first time in our broadcast history, live on Rumble, officially live tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Indiana time here in the great state of Indiana, state of confusion. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are very glad that you are here. We are appreciative of your time. We ask that you do us a favor and share this feed around with people that you know, specifically here in East Central Indiana. Tonight, we're going to be talking about local politics as it relates to the city of Muncie, as it relates to we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about Delaware County, an activist judge we need to talk about. We're going to be talking about the city of Muncie, a whole bunch of different things from the city of Muncie. We're going to be taking a throwback to a story that we were talking about back in episode 295, talking about the Muncie firefighter cheating scandal. And then we're going to wrap up with public access debate issues. And so please do not mind. I'm going to every now and then avert my beautiful face away from you to look over here on our screen and make sure that everything is good to go on Rumble. I can't believe it. We are on Rumble. The official home on Rumble is the Political Spotlight on Rumble. Of course, nobody would know they could find us there, so I'm sure nobody is watching us there. Says host Kristopher H. Bilbrey gets right into it in this 30. What is this? Who said that? Oh, I guess I did. Whoa, what in the world? I didn't know that. Interesting. Well, if you are someone that likes to engage on Rumble, you now have a new way to find us, a new way to watch us there. You can vote the. I don't even know what you do there. I don't know if you vote up, give us a thumb, give us the finger. I don't know what you do there, but if you could do it, we would appreciate it. While you're doing that, if you could also go through the regular things that we do here on YouTube and all of that, we would greatly appreciate it. It's right there. Very, very, very thankful to you all for that. And while we're in the neat little overlays, we might as well just go ahead and get this done, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday, October 6th, 2024, and we did not receive communication today from Muncie City Councilor Dale Basham. I do have a couple emails into them actively, and he has not answered to any of those. So he's still not active. He's still actively not answering. So we are at 279 days of no communication. Hey, look. I think Joe Black is on Rumble. Welcome, Joe Black. You are our first ever person on Rumble. Now, what I do not want, and I'm hoping doesn't happen, is it doesn't make sense for people to just jump off YouTube and go to Rumble. I mean, obviously, if you view most of your content on Rumble and you have just came over to YouTube for us, then obviously do what you do. That would be fine. Obviously, that would make sense. But if you continue to watch things and content on YouTube, obviously stay here, whatever. So we'll see what happens. And if it's not too big of a pain in the ass to switch back and forth and flip flop with, that's what we'll do. So we'll stay there as long as it makes sense. So 279 days without communication with one of the Muncie City Council members. It's a crying shame. We will be live at Muncie City Council tomorrow. Tomorrow will be day 280 as long as he continues the streak. And so when we walk up to the podium during the public comment section, we will address this and make sure that he is aware that we are aware that he is asleep at the email, of course. So 279 days with no communication. That sucks a lot. While we are there, folks, we are now down to the nitty gritty. 3-0. We can have a Kamala Harris moment if you'd like. 30. I'll just say 30 for the remainder of the show. 30 days, ladies and gentlemen, until it is all said and done. And by it, I mean this whole experiment, maybe, hopefully not. Hopefully, what is meant to be will occur. And hey, look, that's how it's going to be one way or another. What is meant to be will be. It will be. God's will be done. That will be what will happen. So we can participate in that. You can decide to get out and vote. You can tell your families, your mothers, your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, your uncles, your aunts, your neighbors, your coworkers, your enemies, your dogs, your cats, unless they're being eaten, unless they're getting eaten, then that would really be bad. Then you need to get them all out and tell them to vote. 30 days left. Yes, GW. Yes, GW. You are correct. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, is the last day. It's the last day to register to vote in the state of Indiana. www.indianavoters.com. That's www.indianavoters.com. Just simply go to the device that you are watching this program in right now. If you're not registered, and straight go to indianavoters.com. indianavoters with an S, indianavoters.com, indianavoters.com, indianavoters.com. Tomorrow, we will take just a few moments and go through the process to show you how it will go, because when we go live tomorrow, it will be just a couple of hours away. And so we'll be down to the nitty gritty. Don't wait until tomorrow, folks. And here's the thing that kills me. There will be a subsection of people who think, I'm already registered already, but they will not have counted that they've moved twice since the last time. They will not count that they've gotten a divorce and they've changed their name. They've gotten remarried, changed their name again, went into the witness protection program and changed their name again and again and again. If you have changed any of your vital information, please go to indianavoters.com and update that. All right, sounds good. We're sounding good there. All right, we just did a sound check there on Rumble. So, yeah, that's important, folks. You don't want to get to the big day and then say, "Oh no, now what?" Because let me tell you, every election, I always have people contacting me and saying, "Now what?" Give me 1 second here. Oops. Sorry, just 1 second. I'm trying to get this updated here. Whoops. That would be no good. We just about ended everything. That would have been no good. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So if we're lucky, we might even talk to somebody tomorrow. I'm going to see. We might even be able to talk to someone tomorrow as they are going through the process of getting themselves registered. I talked to them yesterday, and they've got someone that someone's going to get registered, and I've talked to them about walking through that process with us live, and they said, yeah, we'd be interested in doing that. And so I think that we're going to be able to make that out. I think we've figured out the way to do it where we can hide their information and we won't be doxing them. So I think that's the main thing. So we'll be checking that out. I'll keep you guys posted. We'll let you know how that goes. And whoops, where are we at? Why? Okay, let me kill that. So I'll keep you guys posted on what we do with that or not. But that would be kind of interesting. Okay, so just briefly, I want to walk you through. Tonight is Sunday, obviously, if you're watching this live. If you're watching this later, you will know that we've broadcasted live on Sunday. This episode is happening the night before a Muncie City Council meeting, Muncie, Indiana. We have a Muncie City Council meeting tomorrow. That is Monday, October 7th. I do want to bring it to everyone's attention because this is something that I've not heard a lot about. There's not been any any real communications about. I've not seen anything about this in the paper. And this has been really, really quiet. However, it is on the door at City Hall, and it has been for a couple of weeks now. Here is a notice of a public hearing tomorrow, which will occur before the meeting. So it's 15 minutes before the regular meeting. The Common Council of the City of Muncie will hold a public meeting, public hearing on October 7th, 2024 at 6:45 p.m. in the City Hall Auditorium located at 300 North High Street, Muncie, Indiana, 47305. The public hearing will be an opportunity for the public to provide comment regarding ordinance number 2524. What is that, you might ask? Well, it is an ordinance seeking to annex approximately 4.05 acres of unimproved real estate located in the southeast quarter of Section 36, Township 21 North, Range 9 East in Harrison Township, Delaware County, Indiana. The proposed annexation is a voluntary annexation, as 100% of the owners of real estate proposed to be annexed have signed petitions requesting that real estate be annexed to the City of Muncie. The annexation petitions, written fiscal plan, and ordinance number 2524 are available for inspection and copying at the Muncie City Clerk's office located at 300 North High Street, Muncie, Indiana. And I will tell you guys, Kate and I spent some time going through random maps and going through Google Earth and going through Beacon and trying to nail down where this is. Where we're talking about, where this is it's the topmost northwestern section of the city. So, for example, if you are familiar with Muncie and you're in the Walmart North parking lot, so you're at the corner of McGalliard or 332 and Morrison, this plot of land they're talking about is north of McGalliard, west of Morrison. So it's the northwest corner of that intersection, and it's somewhere, from the limited information that we had when we were looking this up, it's somewhere between Morrison and Meyer, the store Meyer. So it's between Morrison and Nebo. And folks, it's only 4 acres. So it's very little land. It's not like we're taking in a massive addition. I mean, you could do very little on 4 acres. Stumblefoot says we don't want them. It'll be interesting to see what this is exactly. I was going to go up to the clerk's office and take a look at exactly what was going on here, but I'll be honest, the last several weeks have just been kind of crazy, so I didn't get into it. Oh, it's way west of the airport. It's a long way away from the airport in Muncie. Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what everything happens with that. Everyone's asking about the haircut. I don't know what you're talking about, but that is that. But no, I got a haircut today. I went in and got a haircut this afternoon, so that's what I did. Womp womp womp. So that meeting will begin at 6:45. We're going to be talking about that here in just a little bit. I do want to bring up the information as it relates to that is the Northern City Limits Road, though. Well, in that area, yes. Clinton you're right. You're absolutely right. That's Reagan. You're talking about Reagan. Reagan is the northern city limits area. So that's right. Absolutely. Except for then when it gets out to where we're talking about, because it drops off and it comes closer to the city by about a mile. But that's the same thing. So okay, we'll get back to that here in a little bit. Basically, how the rest of the show is going to go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about. You're going to have to forgive me for the voice. We are going to be talking about a situation with a possibly lazy or possibly political or possibly both, more than likely both, definitely both, a lazy political judge, an activist judge, a criminal friendly judge. And folks, I'm walking a real thin line here, because obviously we want judges to be like fair and impartial and not just out there hanging Bob, whatever. But we have to understand that when we're talking about judges and the criminals that this specific judge is friends with, we're not talking about those smoking a little bit of herb that's grows on the ground, as a plant. We're not talking about people doing piddly little things. We're talking about this judge is friends with criminals that are bad to kids, bad to women. We're talking about crimes against children and women. We're talking about the trade and dealing in very serious, heavy narcotics, fentanyl, methamphetamine at large quantities. We're talking about murder and other forms of crimes against the body. We're talking about some very, very, very similar and horrible crimes that nobody is good. While those people deserve a fair and impartial, free, fair trial, and they have rights and they are innocent until proven guilty. My problem is, once they're proven guilty, they still have rights for certain aspects to go through the legal system for appeals and such. But at this point, when you get an activist judge that's going above and beyond, that's doing the work of a defense attorney, that's going out of her way or his way in some cases to make life easier for the criminals than in a lot of cases are for the victims, that's just a problem. So we are going to be talking we're going to be talking about that. And let me see here just 1 second. I want to pull this up because we talked about this a while back, and I told you all that we would be talking about this again. And so I posted an article about this back on the 7th of September, and we talked about this back on the 7th. And the reason that we talked about this was because I was under the impression that the judge would be issuing a ruling, where she would be making an order and issuing her order just any day. The judge in this case is, of course, Delaware County. Give me 1 second here, and I can actually put this up on the screen so y'all can see exactly what it is I'm talking about here, because I don't want to. I want to make sure that everyone is familiar, because I feel like I want to make sure that everyone is aware of what exactly it is that we're talking about here. Give me 1 second here. Let me share with you what's going on. All right, look, here we go. Okay, so this is her, I think, a card that she passes out to everyone that she sentences. This is Judge Kimberly Dowling's get out of jail free card. With a judge like this, who needs a defense lawyer? Murder, crimes against women and children, dealing in narcotics. This is your get out of free jail card. Of course, Judge Kim Dowling was elected to the bench in 2012. She is finishing up her 12th year on the bench. For those that are not familiar, judges do not serve 4-year terms. Judges serve 6-year terms. So she has been elected to 2 6-year terms. She is currently running is a Democrat running for re-election, and it would be her 3rd term she's being re-elected to. She has not had an opponent during any of these other elections, and we cannot elect her back for another 6 years. Delaware County just cannot take it. Okay. And so for those of you that are not familiar, the case that I'm talking about is the 1991 murder of Daniel Baker. He was an Eaton man, Eaton, Indiana. And I put up a pretty heavy read. I mean, it goes into detail, and it goes over each one of the person's of the victims' wounds. He was stabbed 47 times, beaten brutally with busted over the head with a pop bottle, kicked, punched, beat with clubs. And once he was finally stabbed to death, they took his body to the river, submerged him in water, and then placed a heavy piece of discarded machinery over him, essentially crushing him in some areas to kind of conceal his body. And then and I apologize, this is pretty heavy, but when they were arrested, when they were pulled over for driving his truck, the police officer, and this is why people, you have to understand that random traffic stops you never know what you're going to get, because a police officer in a different state pulled these guys over for speeding and walked up to them, and they were like, "Oh God, we're caught." And like the first or second things they said is, we killed him. And the police officer said, "Who?" And this was their words, not mine. He said, "Some queer." So, there is some aspect of the case. They killed him. They robbed him. They stole his vehicle. And some aspects of this may have been because of his lifestyle. So that is very important to kind of understand about this. So on Saturday, September 7th, I posted my article about this, detailing what is the current ongoing legal situation in this case. The defendant in this case that I am talking about is Matthew Stidham. He is currently incarcerated, has been incarcerated since 93. And at the time that I posted this last month, September 7th, we were waiting any day for Judge Dowling to issue a ruling, because they had just been to court. They had been to court on a couple different hearings. in July and in August. And then at the end of the August hearing, she said, I'm going to be making a ruling, and the ruling that she would have made is typically made within 30 days. And so when I made this post on the 7th, and when we talked about it that next day on Sunday the 8th, I literally thought that we would be getting the ruling, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, sometime within that next 2 or 3 days. And when we didn't get that, I was shocked. Well, everything that I have now since learned has caused me to revisit this. And so at the time of the post, like I said, she was considering this. And then so I went back and reiterated the case. Matthew Stidham and a couple of his friends committed a brutal murder of Daniel Barker, an Eaton man. The autopsy revealed that Barker had been stabbed 47 times. 27 of those stab wounds were to his chest, abdomen, front of his body, 15 abdomen, front of his body. 15 stab wounds went into his back. 5 stab wounds were to his arms, were defensive style wounds. They punched and kicked him, busted pop bottles over his head, the old hard pop bottles. His lifeless body was then thrown into a river. A heavy piece of discarded machinery was put on top of him to conceal his body. Stidham and his friends were arrested and charged pretty quickly. And in May of 1993, Stidham was convicted of the following. Now, I want to make it very clear here. There were 3 defendants in this trial. But of the 3, Stidham was the ringleader. He was the most in charge. He was the one that did most of the beating and the stabbing and the killing. And he egged on the others. And if it wasn't for him, who knows if they would have done what they did or not. I don't know. Stidham was the ringleader, so that's important to know. Stidham was convicted of count 1, murder, a felony, count 2, robbery and a felony, count 3, criminal confinement, a B felony, count 4, battery, a C felony, count 5, auto theft, a D felony. On June 24th, 1993, then Delaware County Circuit Court 2 Judge Richard Daly sentenced Stidham to a sentence of 141 years in prison, which I'm perfectly fine with. However, after some legal wrangling by Stidham's attorney, on July 14th, 1994, after a ruling from the Indiana Supreme Court, the trial court had to adjust Stidham's initial sentence down from 141 years to 138 years because the Indiana Supreme Court said that the 5th count, the auto theft, should not have been on there, and it was yada, yada, yada. Okay, whatever. I can deal with that. 138 years. Okay, that sounds good to me. All right. Now, this is where Dowling comes to the rescue. Obviously, then, in 94, he's looking at 138 years. Days become weeks, become months, become years. Decades, then roll around, and time marches on as it does. It is important to note that in 2012, as I stated earlier, Kim Dowling started her reign of nonsensical decisions from the Delaware County Circuit Court 2 bench. In 2016, after Stidham had spent some 22 years of his life right where he should be, he decided he no longer wanted to be there. So between February of 2016 and August of 2024, Stidham, via his attorney, started petitioning the court for various things. And because Kimberly Dowling was now the presiding judge of Delaware County's Circuit Court 2, Stidham had an ally of sorts, because it's well known that that Dowling is a bleeding heart activist judge who sees herself as a friend of criminals. And for those of you saying, well, how can you make those allegations? This is just one case. Sit tight, buttercups, the multiple of you. All right. One of Stidham's filings resulted in a sentence once again being reduced in November of 2020. This time it was a dramatic reduction. from 138 years down to 88 years. All right, 88 years is still a long time. But, we're starting to get closer to real life time now. That one cut 50 years off of his sentence. Stidham and Dowling weren't done there, however. Throughout two hearings, the first on July 8th, 2024, and the second August 9th, 2024, Judge Dowling heard arguments on Stidham's recently filed petition for modification of sentence. Essentially, he was saying, thank you for giving me those 50 years off my 138-year sentence and dropping it down to 88, but I'm done serving time, and I would like to come back to my hometown now. And Dowling's like, let me think about this. That makes sense. Okay. So that most recent action was last heard on August 9th. Dowling then took that under consideration and stated that a ruling would be forthcoming, and everyone in that matter was then waiting on this. All right, I follow this. I've been following it. I've been following Dowling's rulings and how she does what to various cases because of everything that has been going on. Dowling has a history of being a bleeding heart liberal judge. She's made many rulings in a number of serious criminal cases, which have led me to question where her head is, and it doesn't give me much hope for this current situation. Will I be shocked when and if she rules in Stidham's favor? No. Appalled, but not shocked. The craziest aspect of all of this is still yet to come. We've not even covered the political side of what we're getting ready to talk about. And folks, it's nuts. When I made the original post about this, as I said, we were just days away from Dowling's ruling. But then that next week passed, and the following week, and then the following week, and the following week. And now here we are, Sunday, October 6th, and there is still not a ruling. That means we are well past the 30-day deadline. What's up? Well, I will tell you what's up. Politics, the election, bullshit. We are 30 days away from the 2024 election, Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. And I fully believe that Judge Dowling is trying to hold this decision off until after Election Day. But why? Because she knows that this is a hot button issue. Because she is more than likely planning on releasing Stidham. This action alone lets you know she's planning on releasing Stidham. And therefore, she wants to minimize the damage to her. Number one, she wants to make sure that she wins. If she wins the election, she will then be able to release him. And when we're all pissed off, so what? She'll be the judge. She will take the bench back over on January 1st. She'll have 6 years. She will commit a whole line of other atrocious rulings and decisions as a judge. Everyone will have short-term memory. I'll be pissed off. I will be hollering for her to leave the bench and for her to get beat, yada, yada. But everybody will forget because that's how Indiana Hoosier voters are. Short-term memory for voting. All right? That's what she's hoping. Or we luck out. We luck out and she doesn't win. But then she'll be like, screw it. She'll only have a couple months left and it'll make ruling in this case very easy. People being mad won't matter because what will she care? She's done. She can release Stidham, maybe make another horrible decision or two between there and December 31st, and off she goes. This is not how the legal system is supposed to work. I believe she is purposefully holding the ruling back because we are upcoming to the general election, and the impact of her ruling could have a chance on her winning. But thank God, it doesn't seem like I'm the only person thinking this way. On Thursday, October 3rd, 2024, Delaware County prosecuting attorney Eric Hoffman filed a following motion. State of Indiana's precipice to withdraw the call the case from trial judge and transfer to the Supreme Court for appointment of special judge. That's a lot of words for saying he has an issue with the delay, and he's now asking that this be withdrawn from her court and placed before the Indiana Supreme Court for appointment of a special judge. Hoffman has at times been very critical, as he should, of Judge Dowling's rulings. And I would say rightfully so. He has had to file motion to preserve he's had to file this motion to preserve the state's rights, because basically what will happen is, let's say this is just a plan that Dowling has, and that Stidham says, well, wait a minute, I was treated unfairly because I didn't get a decision, and now that needs to be looked at, and da-da-da-da-da. So the basically Eric's saying, hey, the defendant has a right to know what's going on. We have a right to know what's going on. He's doing this to preserve the state's rights. It is also interesting to note that in the motion, Hoffman mentioned an Indiana trial rule commonly referred to as the lazy judge rule. The rule claims to speed up the administration of justice for when, whatever reason, the judge does not promptly dispose of the court's business. Honestly, I don't believe this comes down to Judge Dowling being lazy, although I think she might be. Who knows? I don't know her personally. I think that this is 110% a political move, and to me, that's worse than being lazy. All right? That's very important. As you've heard this, folks, I hope it angers you. And if so, you're not alone. There are a lot of other people out here that this angers. We have got to get together, and we've got to do something about it. We finally have a chance to do that. In a few short days, we can start voting for change. On Tuesday, November 5th, please go to the polls and vote for Andrew Ramirez for judge. You know what? I don't know Andrew. He might be horrible. Who knows? After 6 years, if he's horrible, we'll throw his ass out. Or maybe he'll be great and we'll keep him. But I'll tell you what, he will not be Kim Dowling. And we've got to start taking a stance and throwing these people out when they're not giving us the results that we think that we expect. This is just one of many stories. We're going to go over this here in just a moment. But I do, before we move on, I do want to show you this filing, because this is very, very important. Okay. This was filed on the 3rd. On July 14th, the defendant filed a motion to modify sentence. On July 8th and August 9th, the trial court held a hearing on the motion. At the conclusion of the hearing on August 9th, the court gave the parties up to and including August 30th to file briefs and proposed finding of fact and conclusions of law. On August 30th, 2024, the parties filed their respective briefs and proposed findings of fact and conclusions of law. According to the trial court, made an entry in the CCS, which is the chronological case summary, said the court now takes the defendant's motion for modification of sentence under advisement. The trial court's ruling on the motion was due on Monday, September 30th, 2024. September 30th, 2024, it was due. Why is it late? What other reason can she have? She's not listed any other reason. She has not done that. All right? She's not went to the Supreme Court and asked for more time. In the event a court fails for 30 days to set a motion for hearing, or fails to rule on a motion within 30 days after it was heard, or 30 days after it was filed, if no hearing is required upon application by an interested party, the submission of the cause may be withdrawn from the trial judge and transferred to the Supreme Court for the appointment of a special judge. It's Indiana Trial Rule 35.1, which is among attorneys commonly called the lazy judge rule. It's to speed up the administration of justice when, for whatever reason, the judge does not promptly dispose of the court's business as they should. All right. Once the 30-day time limit elapses, the rule requires it to be filed. It doesn't just happen. The prosecutor would have to file it. All right. So at the date and time of the filing, the undersigned reviewed the chronological case summary, and more than 30 days had passed. The court has failed to rule upon the defendant's motion. As of the date and time of the filing, the undersigned reviewed the CCS and found that the trial judge had not made an application to the Supreme Court for an extension of time. Okay, so with all of this there, they had to do what they needed to do to make sure this wasn't like, well, the state's not screwing off. No, the state wants this to come to a close, wants to know what's going on here. We need to get this done and over with. So there's that. And I absolutely. So here's the deal. Alva says, can this filing stop her from making a ruling? That's what's interesting. This filing can't be filed because they're aware that a ruling is coming. But what has to happen now is we'll know really soon. We'll know within a couple days. We'll know just in a couple days. They will make a quick action. So it's not like she's going to rule on this Monday. We might even know by tomorrow. Tomorrow, the next day, what the Supreme Court's going to say about this. So we will see what comes of this, and hopefully we'll know, like I said, in pretty quick order, kind of what's going on there. I have put this out on all my socials over the weekend, and I've gotten a pretty good response from it. The majority of the people know who we're dealing with. The majority of the people are like, "Yep, let's get rid of her." It's time for something new. We just need to try something new. Let's do it. Okay. And so, basically in this situation, I agree. I don't have any special knowledge of Andrew. He is just another person, but he cannot be any worse. That being said, I have had a couple people who are in the cupcake patrol, and they're worried that I might be overly harsh in this situation. And so they've been like, well, this is just one situation. Well, wait a minute. Why is he still in prison, but his co-defendants are already out? Okay. Well, to make sure that we are all on the same page and that we know that it's not like to make sure that everyone is aware that we're not just being overly harsh on this specific dude for one reason or the other. I have a couple of documents here that I want to show you. And I'm going to hopefully we can pull them up like this. Give me 1 second. Okay, that didn't let me do that. Let me try this one more thing. Okay. Stand by just 1 second. Oh, here we go. Trying to double check to make sure how we share. Like, how would I share, Kate, when I pull up? Okay, here we go. This should work. Let me cancel this, and we'll share screen, share window. Here we go. Hide. Here we go. All right, I'm going off screen for a little bit. Let me know if there's something I need to attend to. Okay, so just so everyone else is aware and knows that I'm not just purposefully beating up on some helpless criminal, I want to look at this Matt Stidham's co-defendants. Okay. Important facts about Matt Stidham. Stidham was the ringleader. He was the most culpable. He had the most involvement in the taking of this person's life and the disposing of the body and the actions beforehand. All of this. All right. He was the worst of all three. He went to the trial and he never showed remorse. Stidham's criminal behavior, including runaway, theft, vandalism, escape, contempt, escape, criminal mischief, burglary, theft, escape. While awaiting for trial murder, he participated in an escape attempt from Madison County Jail involving cutting a cell bar with a hacksaw. All right, so it's not like this guy was like, oh my God, I just can't believe something come over me and he didn't quickly go in and get jailhouse religion. He was trying to escape and make out because he was specifically not showing remorse. All right. One of his people, Eric Mills, was not as culpable as Stidham, cooperated with the police and the prosecution, pled guilty and was sentenced to 45 years. All right. And through the court process and everything that happened from 93 till now, he's done his time and got out. He didn't file for very special motions to cut time. It's just what it is. You say, wow, 45 years from 91, but I mean, look at what it is. It is what it is. That's the justice system. That you can't blame the judge. You can't blame that. You have to blame the lawmakers for. All right. Jamie Adams, though, is a little bit different. He pled guilty and sentenced to 60 years in the Barker murder case. In 1995, arrested and charged with Class C felony escape from Pendleton Prison. 1996, sentenced to 4 years on the escape charge. On February 6th, 2014, Dowling, the same judge, released Adams early from prison in the Barker murder case and placed him on probation. Wow, isn't that so nice? Because he was a changed man and he's going to live his life according to God's way and he's going to do good and he's going to save children and cats and plants and everyone's going to love him. He's going to be wonderful. Well, look at this. In August of 2018, Adams was arrested and charged with auto theft, possession of meth, maintaining a common nuisance, and unlawful possession of a legend drug. September 2019, probation revocation filed in the murder case. February 7th of 2019, Adams admits the revocation. However, instead of sending him back to prison, Dowling simply finds that the defendant shall be unsatisfactorily discharged from probation. Therefore, she closed the case. Here's the deal. You plead guilty to a murder and are sentenced to 60 years. And this judge lets you out early and puts you on probation. 2 years later, you're arrested for theft and meth and maintaining a common nuisance and all this other nonsense. Means you have revoked your probation. You've screwed up. And instead of putting you back in prison, hell, instead of doing anything, putting you on house arrest, anything, she just says, "Hey, we're tied. Our hands are tied. We don't know what to do with you," and closes the case. Holy hell. So what does he do? Does he immediately turn his life around at that point and think, you know what? I had a close call and I'm going to get clean. I'm going to find God. I'm going to walk the straight and narrow. No. 3 months later, he's sentenced by another judge to 2 years for the possession of meth charge. October 15th, 2019, Adams was on electronically monitored home detention in Madison County. He cut off the monitoring device and fled, charged with escape and habitual offender. In December of 2019, the United States Marshal Service found Adams in a wooded area in the state of Washington, not far from the Canadian border. February 26, 2020, Adams pled guilty to escape and being a habitual offender. He was facing 8.5 years. However, Dowling only sentenced Adams to the minimum sentence of 3 years in prison. 3 years, which means he's already out. And just a month ago, he was rearrested and charged with domestic battery. Cases pending. Hope to hell it's not in Dowling's court. Like, is that a joke? Like, yeah, it's insane. It's insane. But we're not done, because this is just one person. This is just one person, one case, one situation. All right. There is a whole other series of insanity that you all need to be aware of, and all of these people out there that are like, "You're not being mean to poor little Maddie, are you? You're not being mean to him. You know, he's a brand new man." Well, I want to take you down some of Judge Dowling's greatest hits. Okay. Besides Matthew Stidham. All right. Here's the Matthew Stidham case. Here's Michael Harold. Criminal history: sexual misconduct with a minor, sexual battery, operating a vehicle while a habitual traffic violation, theft, criminal trespass. 8 of 2024, he was arrested and charged with rape, level 3 felony. Charged again with a level 3 felony, habitual offender. Dowling set the bail for $70,000 cash bond only. A week later, at the initial hearing, without a formal motion from the defendant, without being asked, Dowling reduces the bail to a mere $7,000. despite the objection of the prosecutor. On that day, Harold, who's out here being arrested for rape, was released from custody. This is all public record, folks. Walter Springston, June of 2016, was convicted of 4 counts of child possession, possession of child pornography, level 6 felonies. Instead of sending him to prison, Dowling suspends the sentence and puts him on probation. January 23 of 2020, Springston is arrested and charged with a new case of child pornography, charged and convicted in federal court. Thank God. Rashid Ross, career criminal, dealing Schedule 1 controlled substance, maintaining common nuisance, dealing in cocaine. Convicted of dealing in a narcotic drug, felony. Dowling's court sentenced to 10 years in prison in 2017. 2021, Dowling granted early release from prison despite the objections of prosecutors. That was April of 2021. All right. In April of 2021, he was released from prison. In December of that same year, he was charged in federal court in Knox County, Tennessee, with conspiracy to possess or intent to deliver controlled substances. All right, so obviously he wasn't any different. Tyson McCoy, criminal history. McCoy has 2 prior felonies and 8 misdemeanor convictions. His prior criminal convictions include possession of cocaine, possession of marijuana. I don't really care about all that. Convicted of dealing in cocaine, level 4 felony, sentenced to 5 years in prison. Dowling granted early release from prison despite objections from prosecutors. Olivia LaRue, charged with 5 counts, including dealing cocaine, level 2 felony, dealing cocaine, level 3 felony, failure to appear. That was in 2022. Posted bail and released from jail. 8/18 of 23, charged in Madison County with dealing cocaine, dealing narcotic drug, check deception. August 18th, 2023, Delaware County prosecutor files for motion to revoke her bail based on the Madison County case. Instead of setting immediate hearing, Dowling sets a hearing for motion to revoke bail for 2 months later. Folks, I used to work in the prosecutor's office. I can tell you that never happens. Hearings on these motions and in other courts and everywhere are generally set within a few days, not 2 months later. 2 months later, the hearing on the motion to revoke bail comes, and LaRue fails to appear for the hearing. A warrant was issued. January 24th of this year, police, while attempting to arrest LaRue on the warrant, were involved in a vehicular pursuit in which she crashed her car into another person, needlessly killing that person, substantially injuring another person, causing a miscarriage of a baby. Kenneth Herbert, criminal history. Kenneth is a career criminal. For those people living in Delaware County, he is someone that's been around for a long time. Throughout his adult life, he's been charged with at least 40 misdemeanors and 35 felonies. His criminal convictions include conspiracy to commit fraud on a financial institution, domestic battery, driving while suspended, battery resulting in serious bodily injury, check fraud, check deception 10 times, operating a vehicle while intoxicated. On February 20th, 2018, he was sentenced to 6 years for fraud on a financial institution. On January 6th, 2021, Dowling releases Herbert over the objections of prosecutors. 2 years later, Herbert was convicted of murdering his wife. I mean, I laugh. That's not funny. It's not funny. It's horrible. It's god awful. But I mean, I don't even know what to say, man. This goes on and on and on and on and on. And you know what? This was just the first 16 I was able to come up with. This was just 16 that I was able to come up with. We could have done this all night. So for all of the cupcakes out there saying, well, keep on saying it, but say it to somebody differently than me, because I don't care. Dowling is a psychopath if she feels like this is good judicial administration. That's all I got to say about that. You know, here's the thing. Richard Reed got in trouble for saying, I always get it backwards. There was a prosecutor, there was a judge in Delaware County back when Rick Reed was prosecutor, when he was first starting out, named Barbara Gasper Hines. And Rick Reed got in trouble because he said that one of the two things. He either said her ignorance was only outdone by her arrogance, or her arrogance was only outdone by her ignorance. I don't know which way he said it. I don't know which way he said it, one or the other, but it's both fantastic. He got a slap on the hand. He got a couple days suspension for it, and said, like, you know, you shouldn't be talking about a judge like that. Look, I'm not a prosecutor. I'm not an officer of the court. So I think that clearly fits in this case with Dowling. I think she is ignorant and arrogant, and that's scary both. So horrible situation, and she absolutely needs to not be reelected. I don't know what else to say about that. It is nuts. She's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. That would be a good thing, Kate. I came back on. I just saw that. All right. Now, I want to go back in. We're done with the judge. We're done with the lazy political judge. My call is she's not lazy. She is a political activist. She knows what she's doing. She's out of control. Look, I get it. Andrew's coming from the prosecutor's office. Oh God, we're all going to die. Look, it's a small county. Every attorney in Delaware counties took a spin in the prosecutor's office. That's something that happens. When you get out of law school, you do one of two things, and a lot of times you do both. You take a couple years spin as a deputy prosecutor, so you can get trial experience, and then you get out and you take a couple years experience as a public defender. Or you do the opposite. You go out of law school and you take a couple years experience as a public defender, and then you take a couple years experience as a deputy prosecutor. Everybody's done them both. It's all part of the legal system. They have to have an understanding of it all. So it doesn't scare me or make me weird that he's coming from the prosecutor's office. That's not something that bothers me. Kim Dowling has done everything that she's done, and to my knowledge, I don't think that she's been a deputy prosecutor. So it's not like, whatever. So either way, let's give Andrew a chance. If he sucks, I promise you, I got no ties to the man. If he's bad, I'll hit out. We'll do it. We'll crush him in 6 years. All right? Deal? Let's just make a deal. Let's just throw her to the wolves. Let's be done with her. Back to the private sector you go, and let's give Andrew a shot. And if he sucks, we'll deal with him in 6 years. That's a deal. Look, I don't know. I don't even know how else to say it any better than that. That sounds wonderful to me. Let's rock and roll. All right. Onward, forward, ho, the city of Muncie we go. So there is an upcoming Muncie City Council meeting this coming tomorrow. And folks, I'm going to let you know it is going to be a long one. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow's meeting. I can only, here's the thing. I don't like when they're long, because when they're long, what happens is at the beginning, we're fine. At the beginning, we're good. And everyone gets up and can go up and talk, and no one happens. But when we get to about the halfway point, the counselors start getting huffy when citizens get up to speak. And I have to sit there and watch them do that. And it infuriates me. It raises my blood pressure. It pisses me off because I want to just go ape on these people when they're doing this. I cannot stand to watch them roll their eyes. Their body language is atrocious. I wish that they had to sit in front of mirrors so they had to see themselves, because if they did, they would not do what they do. It is horrible. And they don't do that. They don't do that when it's an hour-long meeting. They just go through it. But when it's an hour and a half, 2 hours long, 2.5 hours long, they pitch a bitch about it. And it's something that I just don't do well. I don't do well with the Muncie city councilors having an attitude because citizens are getting up and engaging with them and, talking about things. And maybe the citizens are a little off for this or that. But look, there's one time a month that the Muncie city citizens get up and feel like they are on record in front of their elected officials. And for the city councilors to not be able to take it, and for the administration to walk out before that part even comes, that's just, it's infuriating to me. It's absolutely infuriating to me. Yeah, they do. They forget they work for the citizens. That's exactly right. And it's gross. So I'm going to show you this agenda. Besides the public hearing that I showed you earlier, we do have a public hearing tomorrow at 6:45. So that will happen 15 minutes before the meeting is to start. And people can go and talk there. I'm sure very few, if any, will come speak. The public hearings generally last about a minute, about 2 minutes. I would be shocked if this lasts for any length of time at all. I don't see this lasting any time. We will go live tomorrow at 6:45 right here on this channel, and that means we'll be there and you can watch it. You can live stream it. You can come on our channel for to chat, to do the live chats and do all of that. It'll be right here. The meeting will start at 6:45, and then they will go on a 15-minute break, but we will just keep the feed going. So if you come on and they're just milling around and nothing's happening and there's no sound, that's what's going. Don't freak out. The meeting then will start at 7 o'clock and we will record the entire meeting. Audie and I will be live tomorrow after the meeting. We will be live right here tomorrow evening after the meeting. I do not know what time that will be. Let me show you why. Here's the agenda. Talks about the public hearing I was just talking about. We then get into the regular meeting, Pledge of Allegiance, the invocation, citizen recognition, roll call, approval of minutes, appointments of boards and commissions, committee appointments, committee reports, ordinances previously introduced. All right, they will go over the fire department, EMS appropriation. They will then go over Ordinance 1724. This is the second reading. They talked about this already last month. They will then go over Ordinance 1824, which again, they talked about last month. Those are pretty standard. There's nothing really crazy with them. They will then go over an ordinance of the city of Muncie amending the traffic schedule set forth in Chapter 80. We went over that last month. Next, they will then go over the appropriations for the police department, which we went over last month, and the appropriations. Oh, this is the ordinance and appropriations for the tax rate. So now we get in to the budget. Okay. And so they will do the second reading for the MITS bus budget, and they will do the second reading for the Muncie Sanitary District budget. They'll go through those. Those will be the second done reading. We will then get into Ordinance 23, which is Ordinance for Appropriations and Tax Rates Proposed Muncie 2025 Muncie Civil City Budget. They will not vote for a second time tomorrow. They will vote for the second time during a special meeting at the end of this month on October 23rd at 5:30 p.m. So they will allow public comment on this budget during this section in the meeting. So I'm happy that they are doing that. We will then go into new ordinances, okay? And keep in mind, we're on the second page of the agenda already. New ordinances amending Chapter 76, abandoned vehicles of the Muncie Code of Ordinances, an ordinance of the city of Muncie annexing certain part of unimproved real estate. That's what we've already talked about. So it's going to be interesting to find out exactly what this is. And then an ordinance of the city of Muncie establishing a designated outdoor refreshment area. And what they're basically talking about here is going to be some kind of area. I would assume it's going to be somewhere around downtown Muncie. It's going to be basically like an area where they are allowed to drink, serve alcoholic beverages outside. And so I don't know exactly what or where this is, but it'll be interesting. And, unless it's something crazy, if it's downtown, if it's next to a restaurant, I don't care about this. Sometimes people bitch about this, but to me, it's stupid. This is economic development. I'm okay with this. I don't have a problem. It is what it is. Then we go into resolutions. A resolution for the city of Muncie adopting fiscal plan for the voluntary annexation of certain property known as the voluntary, whatever this is. I think this has to do with the annexation, so we'll have to learn what that is. Resolution of the Common Council, City of Muncie, ratifying and approving a bot agreement and related transaction documents to permit the commencement of construction of a replacement fire station. This, ladies and gentlemen, along with maybe some budget talk, is probably what's going to get a little dicey, because to my knowledge, the Muncie Fire Department, Muncie Fire Department, Muncie Mayor's administration has not given the city council members what they're asking for relating to this. So this is going to be very interesting. Also, at least a little bit, this should probably keep some of the administration there until Resolution 1124 at least, which is pretty far along in the meeting. So that's one good thing, because I can't see them leaving before this meeting, this resolution gets talked about. Time will tell, I guess. Well, stranger things have happened. Resolution 12-24, Appropriations Reduction Resolution, General Fund. That's just all it says. So we'll have to see what that is. And then, of course, tabled Ordinance 1224, an ordinance amending the, this has to do with AFSCME, the AFSCME union. They're still screwing these AFSCME members of the union. It's insane what they're doing. I don't understand why they're doing it. It's crazy. It's gross. I'm hearing that there are going to be people there who are going to be in solidarity with them. And time will tell. Time will tell. What are we talking about, Citizen Kane? You might be behind me. I like the sound of 1224. Is that the outside refreshment area? What was 1224?
Appropriations Reduction Act?
Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be a weird.
The title's very interesting to me.
Yeah. Let's go see here. Let's go take a little little deep dive into the packet and see what was its number again?
I thought it was 1224, but 1224.
Resolution 1224. You're right.
Resolution 1224. Okay, not ordinance. Gotcha.
City Council packet 1027. Man, I've got a hair. It's like down in my ear, and it's itching my ear, and it is really bothering me. Oh my God.
So that resolution the title of it sounds interesting. Are they going to try to stop the fire department and the police department from coming in every year and asking for some kind of ridiculous amount of appropriation with this?
No. This isn't even any fun or any good or nothing. This is...
Well, it's a resolution, so it doesn't have any teeth anyway. But
yeah, it got so exciting. You got me so excited because it does have a cool name, and it seemed like maybe something that they were putting.
Like, ooh, this could be good.
Yeah. So I think what this is that thing where we'll have to hear. It says, whereas it has been shown that certain existing appropriations now have unappropriated balances that will not be needed for the purpose for which appropriated. And whereas it has been determined that it is now necessary to reduce appropriations for the general fund, now therefore be it ordained that the Common Council of the City of Muncie, Indiana, that Section 1, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated, transferred, or reduced out of the fund names for the purposes of specified subject to the laws governing the same. Funds 101, the general funds, into 21, titled Police Department. So we're taking $227,441 out of health insurance funds and putting it into the police department for some reason.
Damn it. Sounded like it was going to be a good one too.
It did. It really did.
But they're just basically taking, we have leftover money in this one they haven't used, leftover money in this one they haven't used, leftover money over here. We're just going to scoop it all up and dump it on the police.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
great.
Although I'm glad you had me jump into that really quick because...
Oh, did you find something else fun?
We did find this, and this is the bot deal.
Oh, God.
Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Muncie. Okay, let's see. Authorizes a political subdivision to adopt certain powers with respect to consideration of entering and operating agreements and BOT agreements. Whereas on July 2020, the Common Council of the City of Muncie adopted the resolution. Okay, they did this. Transfer a new fire department projected to be located in Muncie, Indiana. The city's entered into certain public-private agreement, namely a BOT agreement, between the developer and the city. Project has been found to be an appropriate use for the site. Resolution 1223. The council has previously awarded the public-private agreement to the developer, approved negotiation and drafting of the BOT agreement and other supporting documents, subject only to final approval by the city attorney and council, authorized the city to execute the transition documents, subject to the council's final approval of the BOT and transaction documents, authorize the city financial advisor and the city attorney to provide analysis, documentation, recommendations to the council for the payment of project expenses under the transaction documents at future public meetings. Whereas a financial arrangement for the payment of the project expenses have been presented to the council and were approved by resolution in May of 2024. Final BOT and transaction documents have been provided to all members of the city council, and appropriate time was provided to provide comment and express concern, and none were provided. Where's that at? Pre-staging and engineering work of the project site has been completed, and the developer is ready to commence construction upon receipt of the council's final approval and authorization for the BOT and transaction documents executed by the city as set forth in Resolution 1723. Okay. I mean, this is a long-ass document. This is... Oh, well, no, it ends here. Yeah. So I don't know what this is, because what's funny to me is Sarah Gullion was just bitching at the last council meeting about needing documentation, and she hadn't heard from anybody, and there was a lot of information there, and she wanted to talk to somebody from the administration, but nobody from the administration was there. I mean, that was just September. So I'm going to have to print this off tonight and read this. I will read this before we go in tomorrow, folks, to get an understanding of what this is. Interesting. What is this? Huh. Well, I will look through that tonight. We'll know that before I go in tomorrow. Hey, Lenny. So that's interesting. So we'll know what goes on there. Okay, so just to wrap up with that, Stumblefoot. Okay, so at some point, here's what I'm going to do. I was going to go through the Muncie Board of Works meeting from last Wednesday. We won't do that. I will hold off, and we'll go through both the Board of Works on Wednesday. So we'll put that off to the side. We'll do both Board of Works on Wednesday and both community updates on Wednesday. I do think that we need to listen to both of them, because I think that there's something kind of important in this last one. I want to get to this last thing, and then we'll be done. I know. Well, I was going to say we've been here for a long time, but hell, it's only at 1:20. We're only an hour and 27 minutes. Okay. Hey there, Lenny. Thank you. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Before we wrap up this evening, I do want to take just a second and go through something that I feel like everyone needs to be aware of, because this is something that is really bothersome. I know what Catherine and I did on Friday night was a very, 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 very long show. We were on for 3 hours. And for those of you that hung on with us, I absolutely thank you. We had a lot of people that hung on with us, and that was badass. You guys were absolutely troopers. But toward the very end of the program, and I know that some of you dropped off, we found something that was very important. You can go back and watch that. I'm not going to go through it, because I'm actually glad that we didn't know it in the main part of the show when a lot of people were watching, because I'm going to use it to my benefit tomorrow when the Public Access Counselor opens. But for those of you that watched last meeting and watched the last episode, and you're aware, basically, let me ask you if you're aware of this. So, number one, they went to a Madison County, Indiana election board meeting, which is a public meeting governed by the open door laws of the state of Indiana, and people are allowed to be there. They are allowed to witness it, and they are, under the open door laws, allowed to videotape, access, record, and be right up in their face with it. All right. Under under Indiana open door law, that is absolutely accurate. Hey, no problem. No problem, Brenda. Better late than never. But you'll definitely want to go back and watch us. We've had a good show tonight. That being said, Madison County weren't wanting to do that. They were saying, no, you can't do it. I'm telling you, I have been right up and in their face before in Madison County, and they never said anything to me. This was back in 2019 or before. Done it in Delaware County for years, done it in Randolph County, done it in Henry County, and done it in Jay County. I've done this all over, and there's never been issue before. Well, the election board and the public access counselor are using some crazy ass law that is not proper. What they are saying basically relates to the machines on election day or the machines being utilized for early voting. It does not pertain to the machines being used for the public test. The point of the public test is so people will know what is happening. And you can't know if you can't get right up and close and personal and watch it. And I want to show you something. That completely disproves Madison County's thoughts and what they were saying, and disproves what even the public access counselor was saying. And I've had a brief conversation with him via text this weekend, and he and I have an appointment, a scheduled phone call for tomorrow morning, and we are going to watch through this so we can come to an agreement. And I'm telling you, someone is going to apologize to a whole lot of people here really soon. And I can tell you, it's not going to be me, and it's not going to be Catherine, and it's not going to be any of the people on our side of this fighting this thing. It's going to be the Madison County government. It's going to be Luke Britt, and it's going to be very soon, because we are going to make these people absolutely look like fools. And, no. We're just going to expose them looking like fools. They have made themselves look like fools. So I want you guys to watch this. This was recorded this week. It was recorded on Tuesday or Wednesday this week. Okay. Let me see here.
Day about a month away now, and early voting begins next week.
So election workers want to make sure that everything is ready to go, from poll workers to the voting machines themselves. Tonight, Dustin Grove takes us inside and shows us how it all works and whether all that equipment passed the test.
Inside Marion County's Election Service Center.
Whoa! Look, that camera. That camera's looking at that ballot. What's happening here? How's that happening? How's that camera right up on that screen? How's that camera doing that? There's no way. That's nuts. They can't let that stuff be going on. You're not allowed to do that. What's happening here?
Democracy put to the test.
To make sure that
that camera's, oh my God.
That there are no votes on the machines, that everything is ready to go for the election.
Each county is required to test 5% of its equipment and also told which specific machines to examine. But
you can't do that.
Bell says here
in Marion County, we test it all. We don't rely on this 5% test. We know going into it that each and every machine that we have is going to work.
So more than 2,600 machines are set up and tested.
Wow,
to make sure
what are these
every
pieces of
single
paper?
selection is accurately recorded. Then each machine is secured away.
We set them up and knock them down.
Good morning, everyone.
And all of it done during an open meeting of the Marion County Election Board.
Open meeting.
It's very important that we explain every little detail.
Brian Chatfield works in voter registration. He says it's critical for the public to be able to watch every step of the process.
To see Republicans and Democrats working behind the scenes to make sure it's a free and fair election, it's fun to watch.
A spokesperson from the clerk's office tells me everything went well, and this right here is a copy of the certified form. We got this afternoon saying they ran the test.
What? He's got a copy of the certified form?
And it's not in that room.
Yeah, what? Yeah,
he took it out of the building.
Yeah, dude. Like,
oh.
Yeah.
Where's the popo? I hope they don't show up at his house.
Yeah, yeah. I can't believe it.
Precincts and corrected any issues that came up. Again, in Marion County, they tested them all. And when they were finished, the voting system was sealed and it was signed by not only the clerk, but 2 members of the election board, a Democrat and a Republican. A reminder, early voting starts next week. You can still register, and we posted a link where you can do just that at WTHR.com.
Wow, 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 wow. Really crazy to me. So we're going to look at that. We're going to compare that to the madness in the Madison County room. And we're going to read the law slowly so the people that have a hard time, you would think I'm an attorney. I am not an attorney. I just simply know how to read, man. Like, it's not that hard. You literally just have to read one word and then the next. We read from left to right, top to bottom here in the United States. And I think that, oh yeah, Catherine will be back on Tuesday night. So tomorrow night is Muncie Council meeting, a live stream, live on location, starting at 6:45. Then we will be live sometime after that. And then basically what will happen after that is then Tuesday, we will have the live stream of the Madison County meeting starting at 6. And then Catherine and I will be on after that at some point. And then Wednesday, we will do the Muncie Board of Work stuff. Both of them will be doubled up. So we've got another busy, fun-filled week. All right. The sad thing is you can read them. You just can't understand it. Yeah, right. That's right, Alva. Sad thing is you can read it to them. You just can't understand it for them. I have a feeling that I can get Luke to understand. Luke is not a bad guy. He's just sometimes he gets off kilter and it doesn't serve him well. All right, folks. That is going to do it for us. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. For the people that have hung tight with us on Rumble, all like 2 or 3 of you, I appreciate it. I don't know who you are. Please leave us a message on Rumble if you are still there and you aren't one of our YouTube people. For the people on X or Twitter, thank you for being here wherever you come from, Facebook, X, Rumble, Twitter. I'm glad we're now on Rumble. I hope it's continuing to be easier getting on Rumble. It was a little hectic tonight. I think the next couple of times will be easy. If it is, we'll continue being there, and it should be a pleasure to try to build Rumble up a little bit. So you guys take care of yourselves. Be back here tomorrow. We've got a lot going on this week. Obviously, voters registration is over tomorrow. That is important. So watch out for that. And then lastly, early voting starts Tuesday, man. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So, all right, you guys, I hope that you have a good rest of your Sunday. Sleep tight. Have a great start to your work week. And we will see you back here tomorrow at 6:45 Eastern. And then at some point around 9, as close to 9 as whenever we get out of the meeting, whenever we can. So just keep it tuned there. We'll let you know in the meeting what's going on. So you guys take care. God bless. Have a good evening. Goodbye.